Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
What you're about to listen to is the recording of the officer on the bridge when this happened.
Any one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic. Yeah, we're all on the route to the south side. Dispatch start. I'm holding traffic now. I was dragging, but we stopped prior to the bridge, so I'll have all out of the traffic stopped. 10-4, is there a crew work on the bridge right now? 291 will do that. Good. Let me stop traffic on this site right now. Yeah, if we can stop traffic, just make sure no one's on the bridge right now. I'm not sure where. There's a crew up there. We might want to notify whoever the foreman is, see if we can get them off the bridge temporarily. 10-4, once the other unit gets here, I'll ride up on the bridge. I have all interloop traffic stopped at this time. Once you get here, I'll go grab the workers on the Key Bridge and then stop the outer loop.
13 dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down. Start, whoever, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
Simple dispatch is direct. That's correct. There's time. Do we know what traffic is stop? I can't get to the other side, sir. The bridge is down.
So in the last video, we had a clip of this, and I made the comment that I wish that the clip didn't cut off right before it hit, because I wanted to see what the aftermath or destruction looked like. I've now watched this video dozens of times, watching other people's analyzations and breakdowns, and I can now say, be careful what you wish for, because it's very traumatizing seeing the patrol cars of the workers that were responsible for maintaining that bridge parked on it. When the bridge goes, they fall. You can't even count to two. It's so quick. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes you see things that you can't unsee. Not gonna lie, that one really bothered me.
But this is where things get a little bit weird. An unrelated question, do you know of any audio file that actually contains Tesla's voice?
No. I've searched high and low for both motion picture, which would typically have an audio track maybe. None.
Nothing?
None. Too, and here's the thing that stuns me. So Tesla, people know him best because of all these crazy articles that were written in newspapers about him, especially at the time of his birthday in his later years of his life. So it was an annual thing. All these reporters they had it on their calendar, show up at Tesla's place, in July. Tesla would give them these prophecies about what was going to happen in technology. This is something they're preparing for every year. And if they've got equipment, they're a newspaper, right? One of the biggest newspapers in the world. Why would they not have recording equipment?
Is there any voice file of Edison?
Yes, there's video of Edison.
Okay, so that's really weird, right?
Yeah.
Because it happens exactly in the same time frame.
Yep.
So this makes perfect sense if you think about it. Tesla died penniless, in squalor, with his name in ridicule. So if they were going through great lengths and putting all this effort in to disqualify him as the genius that he was while he was still alive, it would only make sense that they would delete any audio recordings or video recordings that would show his genius firsthand to anyone who would want to see that.
It helps sometimes. So this is the oval. Yeah, that would help me actually. Yeah. Is that closet?
That's washer dryer hookups.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, sorry I kicked you. There's a person in there. There's a person in there? Hello?
Story time. All right, so this happened to me once before, only I was the guy in the closet. Let me explain. I worked in Clarksville, Tennessee at a student housing complex for Austin Peay University. I was a maintenance man there. A couple of times a year, when you're in between semesters, we would have turn, which means we would have over 50% of all of the units in our apartment complex get emptied out. We would have to go in and do turn on them, like go through inspection, make sure they didn't need light bulbs, new blinds, the carpet didn't need to be replaced, the walls need to be painted, that sort of thing. So we had a few that were really, really expensive because they were private, like single bedroom. Everything else was you rent a room and you get a common area you share with someone else who's renting a room in your apartment because they're for students. So we had a couple really expensive units that were just private units. So I would go into these and use the bathroom because no one ever rented them. They were always empty. So it was a private bathroom. And I had it stocked up with my favorite toilet paper that I brought from home and everything. So one day I'm in there taking care of business, doing a number 2, and I hear keys in the door. And I'm thinking it's the other maintenance man. So I'm thinking, oh, he probably knows I'm in here. He's probably coming here to mess with me. They were showing the apartment, and a 15-year-old girl and her father opened the door, and I'm sitting on the toilet. One of the highlights of my life. Surprisingly enough, I did not get anything but a stern talking to. Didn't get fired. I think they let the embarrassment that I was living with be the punishment. Hey. If you're liking this video and you enjoy this type of content, I make a new one just like it every other day. It would be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back to join me.
Stitch this with a fact so ridiculous you didn't believe it until you looked it up yourself.
There is a whole layer of our atmosphere that is mostly spiders. And they're alive. And they eat things. They're not all dead spiders. And the way that they get up there is that when they are like making their webs and they're like shooting the web, they get swept up in a little wind tunnel or something. And I know it sounds big. And I cried the first time I heard this, but it is absolutely true. We have an atmosphere layer that is mostly made up of live spiders. And if you don't believe me, you should just look it up.
It kind of makes me have second thoughts about wanting the ability to fly. Definitely don't want to be flying around up in the sky and get a face full of spiders. Yeah, that's a big no thank you on that one.
All right, guys. News alert. Everyone should know this, okay? So the shipping container here that just took down the bridge in Baltimore, okay? There's a little backstory. Let's get into it real quick. This is going to blow your mind. So this is Angela Cheo, who just so happens to be Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law. Yeah, Mitch McConnell, the senator. Well, she is the CEO of the shipping company that ship was connected to. But it just so happened 6 days ago, this girl died. So basically, now tell me if this doesn't sound suspicious. Her blood level, her alcohol blood levels were 3 times the legal limit. On top of that, this is what happened. She was driving her Tesla when it went into reverse on its own into a pond where she drowned. Okay? Tell me that's not a coincidence, y'all. Okay? So, like, the CEO now, mind you, she's a billionaire. Okay? She is loaded. Okay? So, like, they just took her out, and then all of a sudden, 5-6 days later, here comes down the bridge. So, just a little shady, but I thought the world should know.
This definitely seems suspicious, like there's something there. And this actually reminds me of a 911 call that I listened to recently of a similar situation where a rich lady had backed her Tesla, or it had backed itself into a pond, and she ended up not surviving. So I wonder if this is related to that 911 call that I listened to. But anyway, I don't want to make any accusations or assumptions about what's going on with this bridge thing, but I thought this was interesting and worth a share. Maybe a couple dots there that a couple of you viewers could connect and enlighten the rest of us on.
When I left Fox, I went to MGM for one picture. Thank goodness, only one. And when I got there with my mother, we were separated. She went into the office of Louis B. Mayer, and I went into the office of Arthur Freed. And he was going to talk to me about a movie he wanted to put me in. I'm 12 years old, you know. And I thought he was a producer, but instead he was an exhibitor. And I'd never seen anyone naked before, except myself. So I had no clue about what was happening. And so it struck me so funny, I laughed at him. And I laughed uproariously. I had tears, and he got infuriated. And he said, out, 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 go.
Did you tell your mother?
Well, I went down. I was very quiet. I went down and met her in the lobby of the administration building. She came out very quietly from Louis B. Mayor's office, and we walked hand in hand silently to the car, which was unusual. We got in the car driving home. I said, Mom, you won't believe what happened to me. And I told her what happened, and she got kind of quiet. She said, well, you don't know what happened to me. And Louis B. Mayer wasn't as bad as Freed was to me.
You tried
but he came on to my mother. And so we both decided that we didn't like MGM much. It was, it was better at Fox.
It's disgusting how long this stuff has been going on, but the way they're talking about it, like, oh, it's just a thing that happens, ha, 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 10 times more disgusting. The whole reason that this stuff has gone on as long as it has is because people just swept it under the rug and treated it like, oh, it's commonplace, it's just a thing that happens. And no one questioned it. No one questioned how the depravity of the actions of some of these people.
I have a theory that Boeing is committing massive insurance fraud, and that's the reason John Bennett is no longer with us today. Let me explain. John Bennett, aka the Boeing whistleblower, was found deceased in a hotel parking lot on March 9th, 2024, after claims that Boeing is skipping safety precautions and letting faulty parts go into airplanes. So how does this contribute to the insurance fraud? Turns out when a plane crashes, the manufacturer of the airplane will submit an insurance claim. 1, for the failure of the plane, and 2, for the damages on the plane as well. Depending on how many passengers are on the plane can determine how much money is involved. Let's say a Boeing 757, the commercial flight, crashes and everyone on the plane either sustains some injury or a lot of them perish. You're looking up to north of $250 million for a single plane crash. And turns out there are quite a few plane crashes each year, private and commercial as well. Now, if you didn't know, Boeing in 2021 actually had a case on them committing fraud and conspiracy, and they agreed to pay over $2.5 billion. That makes you really think it might be a actual plausible business model to actually crash your plane. If they're getting this much money off of a single plane, like, wouldn't it make sense that they would purposely make sure that their planes are filled with faulty parts so they can get insurance money?
All right, I want to be careful here because this sounds like this dude could be onto something, and I don't want to point no fingers and make accusations, but I wonder how much those planes are worth when they're reaching the end of their days and it's time to take them out of commission. They're worthless. They're going to go into a scrap yard, but if they crashed, maybe they're worth a lot of money. Maybe they're worth $250 million. Yeah, I think this guy needs to keep digging down the rabbit hole that he's on because he may find some evidence of something pretty damning.
What the devil is going on here? And I mean that quite literally. NASA will once again fire 3 rockets at a solar eclipse. And for all you who still think the world is a ball in outer space, in your worldview, that's firing rockets at a shadow. And remember last time when they shot this alleged picture from outer space and they put the shadow from the solar eclipse on the United States so it looked like a poop cloud? Oh, it gets weirder. Let's read. Serpent deity. The space agency's project blah 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 is named APEP, which is named after the serpent deity from ancient Egyptian mythology, nemesis of the sun deity Ra. Nemesis of the sun. He looks like a friendly fella. I think I remember this work from AP Art History back in high school. It was an odd time for me. Here's a piece of art called Adam Repelling Apep, the Serpent of Chaos. Doesn't it seem like the world is getting more chaotic, ironically? And isn't it interesting that his name is Adam, and he's repelling a serpent? Very similar to the situation that happened in Genesis, with a person also named Adam. And what's the deal with all the predictive programming going on with The Simpsons and the Obama movie, Leave the World Behind, amongst many other films and shows? Predictive programming. And what's the deal with these total solar eclipse checklists that involve stocking up on essentials, filling a gas tank up, picking up prescriptions, scheduling appointments? For a 5-minute long shadow? What? We've had eclipses before. What's the deal with this one? Have we already discussed that Apep is the Egyptian deity who embodies darkness and chaos and disorder, and that he is the opponent of light and truth? Huh. It's ironic that NASA would use that. Yeah, makes sense then. You all know that total solar eclipse paths make absolutely no sense on ball Earth. What? And I'm sure you've heard by now that the totality of this solar eclipse passes through, I think, 7 towns named Nineveh, which was the place that was going to be destroyed back in the Bible. Read the book of Jonah. By now you might have heard, I think Jesus returned in 66 AD and Nero is the Antichrist, and the Dark Ages was the cover for the 1,000-year millennial reign, hence all the amazing architectures that we can no longer create. I think that already happened.
So they're going to shoot rockets at a shadow, and it's supposed to be named after the ancient Egyptian deity who embodied darkness and disorder and was thus the opponent of light and truth. And why would they choose a name like that? This is another example of dark and twisted things being done right in our face. For this to be a government agency, it sure doesn't seem like it's coming from a nation that's supposedly founded in Christianity. There's more and more evidence starting to stack up showing that we were not founded in Christianity, but in some sort of occultism, and that the Christianity part was just surface level.
It wouldn't be 2024 without a new sickness or syndrome. Great news! There's a new syndrome out there called the Demon Syndrome. And what's so weird is it's on so many different news platforms right now. Scientific term is prosopometamorphopsia. Say that 3 times fast. So there's only 75 cases, huh? Well, I think I'm gonna be number 76. Hear me out. We've all seen what happens to Beyonce when she starts shaking her head, huh? Yeah, or the weird shit that happens at concerts and in Hollywood. People take photos and they're just distorted. Or are they? Maybe you're just catching what you're supposed to be seeing. Not to mention every concert you're at today is like a first-class ticket to hell. Portals on portals. Boy, they love them portals. Everything doesn't have to be a syndrome or a disorder. What if they're gaslighting the out of you because you're about to start seeing weird shit? It's like the movie They Live with Rowdy Roddy Piper, you remember? He'd put the shades on and see people for what they were. We are already in hell, so I don't find this too far-fetched at all. It's only March. It's literally only March of 2024. How much more shit can we go through at this point?
This is actually the first thing that popped up in my head as well whenever I heard about this new disorder, is that they're just lying because they expect people to be able to see things that they can't explain soon, and instead of freaking out, they want everyone to assume that they have some sort of a disorder. Yeah, that theory totally makes sense. 75 people have this, and it's in every news outlet being talked about. That doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't add up.
My apologies in advance, but you can't tell me that this looks like an accident. I mean, take a look at the angle in which it takes in order to hit that bridge. Now, I decided to ask artificial intelligence program called Copilot from Microsoft Bing's search engine what the effects of this bridge collapse will have on the economy and the surrounding areas. And the answers should be very alarming, but also not surprising. Check this out. An average of 4,900 trucks per day carry $28 billion worth of goods. Those are now going to need to be rerouted due to the bridge collapse. And the greatest impact is expected on hazardous materials such as diesel fuel. And we're already having problems with gas prices. This is only going to make things worse and set things back as it pertains to gas prices, but there's more, of course. The bridge plays a crucial role in the nation's infrastructure and the supply chain. The disruption is going to have long-lasting effects. Baltimore serves as the largest entry point in the U.S. for large agriculture and construction equipment, including tractors, farming combines, bulldozers, and heavy-duty trucks bound for the Midwest, the farmland of America. Let's visit that now, because this collapse comes just during the peak of planting season in the Midwest, and once again, it's going to affect the farming and the food. Additionally, construction activities also pick up in colder climates as the ground thaws. The economic impact extends beyond immediate costs, potentially affecting businesses, jobs, and regional stability. But there's more. The bridge's collapse affects the entire supply chain, including the movement of agricultural equipment, fertilizers, and other essential materials. Farmers may face challenges in receiving necessary supplies, leading to potential delays in planting, maintenance, and harvesting. The economic repercussions extend beyond immediate costs, potentially affecting crop yields, prices, and again, regional stability. I want to hear from you what you think about this. No, not this predictive programming, but I want to know what you think about this taking place last night and what it's going to do to the country moving forward. Share this video with everyone that you know.
Definitely seems like a lot of stuff is going to be messed up. Already feels like the country's going to hell in a handbasket. It's just one more nail in the coffin, unfortunately. I hate to sound so black-pilled all the time, but man, it's hard to look at the current situation of the country and say, oh, things will get better. It just I'm not seeing those signs. I'm looking for them, but I ain't seeing them.
No, you didn't. So the military made us get this chip in our wrist. She would. It's a little scar right there. My husband doesn't believe me, so I'm going to play with it. No, you don't. Yes, I am. You have to have it in your wrist. So what I can do is connect my debit card to it. You ain't pay? Waiting for your transaction to complete. What the? Yes, you do. He does not believe me. That's why I'm recording. You don't believe me. They been had that. You ain't never cut me. Baby, wait, you missing the bag down here. You don't understand how far technology is coming. So I already signed the paperwork. Yes, we're gonna get one in our baby's wrist, but they can't get it until they're 3 years old.
All right, we know this stuff exists and that they're working on rolling out these types of technology. I don't know if this is legit. I don't have any reason not to believe it other than this would clearly get a lot of clicks online posting this. So part of me wants to say this is fake, and I know how it could be faked because now they've got the cards that you can just tap to the side of at the register. You just tap the little wave thing with your card. You don't even have to stick it in the slot, and it'll automatically read it. And it can do that from quite a distance. So if you have two cards in your wallet, it'll actually tell you that it can't read it because it's getting interference from another card that's got one of those chips in it. Hopefully that made sense the way I explained that. But if she had one of those cards in her sleeve, she could hold that and it would give the same effect. I don't think that's what she's doing, but that would be a great, easy way to fake that. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips that we watched together today. I hope you come back and join me on Saturday for the next video. I will be here waiting for you. I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.